Hey, tough and the out of this world story from Street Travel. There are ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back in Street Travel. I am your host Manir.
Story 1. Updated. Am I the a-hole for not giving my sister my baby? Original post. I'm aware how insane this title is, but hear me out. It's me, a 28 female, my husband Lucas, 39, and my younger half-sister, dad's side Lee, 24. My husband and I met through work 5 years ago, but didn't date right away. We tied the knot by eloping 2 years ago, as they predicted Lee would cause wedding drama. Lee herself had a failed engagement 1 year ago. We gave her condolences, but she said if I really cared I would stop wearing my engagement ring around her, flaunting it. I obviously did not take it off. It's a vintage ring that is an heirloom in Lucas's family. I'm now 5 months pregnant with a baby girl, and she wasn't planned, but she's a very welcome surprise. Lucas is so excited to be a girl dad, it's very funny. Ever since I announced my pregnancy, it wasn't a fancy thing just over dinner. Lee's been very snippy and standoffish with me. Fine, it didn't really affect me, we're not that close. But then I noticed that when we'd go visit my dad, or at my family gatherings, she's very touchy with Lucas. She giggles at every joke he makes. Doesn't really bother me. I'm secure in my marriage, and if anything it makes her look silly. We had a blended family event with mom and dad's side, and we were discussing baby names when Lee freaked out and screeched at me that she's the one who deserves a husband and a baby, not me. I never wanted marriage or kids. I was focused on getting a career, and then she stormed off. Later on, my dad and his wife said that she shouldn't have shouted, but I was flaunting my marriage and pregnancy when I knew that she had a failed engagement and had always wanted a baby. I thought that was it, but yesterday the three of them asked to talk, and they came over to ours, and they legitimately asked if I would give Lee my baby. Like they weren't joking. They said it seriously. They said that she deserved it more than me, and that she wouldn't neglect being a mother for a career. Lucas was stunned, but then promptly got them out of her house. I heard Lee clinging to his arm, telling him she could be a good stay-at-home mother. My mom and her side of the family are furious. Lee's mom said it was malicious of me to tell my mom's family, and that I had really upset Lee when we eloped, so I had to make it up to her, and that my mom doesn't get a say. What the actual F? Edit just to address some things? Yes, unfortunately, this is real, and it happens often. Look up the case of Taylor Parker. This whole thing is really stressful. I'm immune compromised, so I'm really feeling run down and have to be careful. Lastly, Lucas is actually Swedish, so that is an option to those of you who have suggested moving. My opinion is very simple. Get away from them, move, and go no contact with them. They're delusional. Best of luck to you op. Now for the comments before reading the update. Not they whole. Lee, dad, and stepmom sound totally delusional. Delusional enough to hurt you and your baby? As in I can't have it and nobody can? Or fatally hurt you and steal your baby? Is there any way you all could move away then go no contact? These people are seriously unhinged. If they think asking you to give Lee your baby is anywhere close to normal behavior. Not a whole. I think you need to take this level of crazy seriously. Hopefully nothing comes of it, but your sister and her treatment of you isn't even close to healthy or normal. If she and her parents are so delusional to ask for you to give your sister your baby, I would fear there is nothing stopping them from trying to make it a reality. First, document all of this behavior, especially the outburst and witnesses from the party. If you end up needing a restraining order, that information will be critical in outlining your situation to a judge and law enforcement. If cutting them off isn't something you've prepared to do, you need to document every weird thing they say or do to you in case they decide to start acting on their delusions. Second, cut off your sister, your mom, and your dad. A man who asks one daughter to casually give their child to another batched crazy daughter does not get to be the grandpa in my book. That side of the family is poisoned with narcissism, and there isn't anything you can do to change them. Let them be unhinged outside of your life. These are not people you want your kid to grow up around and be constantly hurt by. I wish you luck, and I hope your sister gets some therapy. Excuse me. The three of them asked you to give Lee your baby. Like this would be unhinged enough just coming from Lee alone. But there's 3 whole people involved here. Are they high? Have they always felt entitled to take things like this from you and give them to Lee? I'm genuinely baffled that they would have the audacity. Definitely get a lock on this now, because if they're willing to gang up on you like this, there's no telling what they'll do when the baby arrives. Block them on everything. Do not let them into your home. Tell them nothing about the birth. It might sound insane, but you have to treat them like you would a stalker. The level of entitlement here is no joke. Holy SHT balls. Just wow. So not that you would, but if you were to give her the baby, she would be an unwed mother. So if that's cool, then she can just go get knocked up and have her own baby. Not judgment on single moms, but the idea they think a married couple should forfeit their baby. Or does she think you should hand over your husband and the baby to her? This feels like a Lifetime movie. This is so messed up. My husband passed away. We were in the process of adopting, but it didn't happen in time. When my friends got pregnant, some were planned, some were flings. You know what I do? I throw them a huge shower. Offer to help out when the baby comes because my tragedy isn't everyone else's tragedy. I feel happy for them. Wow, just wow. No wonder her engagement fell apart. Now for the update. Hi guys, I just wanted to give you all an update as you asked for it. I saw it made it onto a TikTok podcast, which was amusing. If someone wants to pass them this update along, please do. Point 1, obviously I'm not actually asking if I should give Lee my baby. I was venting. Sorry if I put it in the wrong sub. Lucas and I are in Sweden right now on vacation and have explored the possibility of moving here. He works for a Swedish company in the United States anyway, so it would be just a case of moving, and my work is fluid. I can pick up a job in most countries. I've asked my mom if she would think about coming with us. We would help set her up and make sure that she was looked after, and this way she can see her grandbaby whenever rather than being an ocean apart. Lee is fuming apparently, sulking and being an all-around awful person. Story 2. Update: my wife abandoned my girls when she was shouting there was a home invasion. Original post: my 34 male wife, 42 female, is a stay-at-home mom. Last week when I was at work and my 2 oldest were at school, 5 male and 3 male, my wife was sitting at the dining room table when she saw a man walking down the driveway and going to the front door. He had what she thought was a hammer. She went to the front door and the guy was trying to get in. The guy saw her and waved and tried to get in. She fled the house and ran out the back door. She left her cell phone and Apple Watch. She also left her twin girls, 8 months old. They were sleeping in their cribs. She ran through the neighborhood looking for someone to help her call the police. Eventually, she found someone, and they called the police. The police responded and cleared the house. Turns out it was a repair guy who was supposed to go to our neighbor's house and had been told that no one would be home and to just come in. She is mad at me for not being more supportive of her. I was stunned when she told me and was surprised when she said that she left the girls. She is always yelling at me about how I don't do enough for the kids, unlike her who sacrifices constantly. I don't think that is accurate, but it is beside the point. We've been having major issues in our marriage for a long time apart from this. She's acting like this is one of the most traumatic events of her life, which is making me more and more angry. I'm having a real hard time putting this one behind me. If this guy had been a bad guy, she would have abandoned our girls to save herself. Our house isn't that big and people in the neighborhood and online know that we have 2 little girls. I honestly don't know what to do. Edit. This happened about a week ago. I spent about an hour on the phone with her that day trying to console her. I tried again that night and have been trying to take care of the kids and do all the chores at home. She has been focusing on what I think is a work-from-home job that she is lying to me about and trying to hide from me. Other than that, she is going out with her friends to bars. She does not believe in therapy and is refusing to go to marriage counseling that I set up for us online after the kids go to sleep. A big issue that I'm having is the double standard that if I had done this, she would have never forgiven me and probably divorced me. We had a fight because when we moved to a new house, my side of the bed was on the far side from the door, and that I needed to be able to stop and attack her. I've been yelled at for abandoning my daughters when I take a shower in the morning before work and they begin crying, or if she is sleeping in and one begins crying while I'm changing the other's diaper and it takes me a minute to finish. I totally understand this is fight or flight, and I'm not trying to be a Monday morning quarterback. I have not critiqued, let alone criticized her. The closest was when I was surprised when she told me she left the girls. Other than that call, or when I came home, and she was annoyed that we don't have security cameras, we haven't really talked about it. Second edit, she has a phone that worked. I texted her to check in, and she told me to call her, and that's when I found out about this. When the kids were sleeping, she usually has it. It's a one-story house. It's an L shape. The doors are at one end of the L and the kids are at the other end. I don't know how long it took for her to get help. It was in the workday and most of her neighbors work. It's a walkable neighborhood, not in the country somewhere. I am currently in therapy. She has mocked me in the past for going to therapy and uses that as a way to invalidate my opinions. What do you know? You're just a depression case, so there is no way she will see a therapist. The police had a social worker with them who gave her a card for a therapist. Now for the update. I wanted to thank everyone for all their comments and advice. I wanted to provide an update. Long story short, things are not going well. I feel like I'm an airplane pilot who is trying to land a plane while it is disintegrating around me, and that the time is now for me to bail out. I'm also realizing how much I have normalized these issues and that my good days would be at best marginal days for other marriages, but more likely would be awful. Since that post, I've really tried to do what I can to support her. I think I've been doing what I can to support her in the past. Anytime she wants to leave, she can. I do the lion's share of the chores at home. That means laundry, cooking, groceries, and morning and bedtime routines for the boys who are school age. We do an informal system for dishes and with the girls for the baths. It's close to 50-50 on that one. I also pay all the bills and handle all the extracurriculars. One comment that people made was that she just gave birth 8 months ago and that I should be more sympathetic. I totally get that. But since she gave birth, she has done 4 10,000 races, a marathon relay, and goes to a run group and dinner afterwards twice a week. She has also gone to networking events for her business that she is working on. Since that post, we have had numerous issues. We've had more days with screaming matches than here is a list of issues since the last post. She woke up early on Saturday, but didn't wake me or my son up for his early practice. I slept through my alarm, didn't do anything to help us get ready. Her only question is when we came back was how late we were. The moment I came home, she went back to bed. I had all 4 kids by myself, which is fine. I took the kids to the store to run errands. As soon as I came back, she got into the shower and left and refused to take the kids despite their cries. She refused to tell us where she was going. Sunday, she refused to go to anyone's hockey practice because she had to clean the house. While I'm going to the park at the rink with my kids crying, she calls me because she had hired a person to clean out our garage and wanted to know where we were going to move things. This was the first time I heard of this. The woman did a good job of cleaning the garage, but she threw everything in the dumpster, including unopened dress shirts. We had a thermonuclear fight on Monday. My eldest was screaming at me to get a second helping of dinner ready. I tried bluffing to send him to bed without the second helping. He goes straight to her and she overrules me. Once they leave the room, I explain what I was doing. She spikes her laptop on the bed, jumps up and starts screaming at me, proceeds to follow me out of the room, and is screaming in front of all 4 kids that I'm a whiny bitch and not a real man, and that I'm trying to starve her kids. Funny enough, this was just before our marriage counseling session. I kept it, and while I was in the waiting room, she continued screaming at me and attacking my character. When the session started, she refused to join. She was puttering around and started blending something. I tried to be as objective as possible, and the counselor said that she was impressed with that. In the last 5 minutes, I tried to just bring my laptop to her. When I did, she collapsed into the room she was in like Superman seeing kryptonite. She refused to do it. After that, I went to bed, and she woke me up and wanted me to set up her printer. We changed routers and I hadn't had the chance to set it up yet. The lack of anger caught me off guard and so I did it. She stood over my shoulder the whole time silently and refused to let me see anything. We had a couple of other fights along the same lane, but yesterday, Thanksgiving, we had a decent day. Not that it was overly affectionate, we just didn't fight. She slept in until 12:50 in the afternoon and was snippy because I didn't have everyone ready yet. She wanted the girls in the car seats. She then began a 90-minute shower and makeup routine and helped with the kids for maybe 20 minutes. We ended up an hour late for Thanksgiving dinner, but for us that was a good day. Yeah, there was no affection or anything, and we didn't speak in the car, but yeah, my mind forgot all the issues that we had been having and I wanted to make it work. That night I woke up and attended to one of the girls who was very sick. That is the one thing that she has done exclusively, is attend to the kids when they wake up. She has taken kids from me when I do get up before her. She says that is because I am working. One fight we had in September, she screamed at me as being selfish for taking my daughter and sitting with her. I had said that I didn't mind and that I was up anyway. And that somehow kept her up because I couldn't sleep. The problem is that this has become a trump card in every argument. But anyway, I was with my daughter from 4 to 5 o'clock and she slept in. This morning I woke up at 9 o'clock, the latest I have slept in that I can remember. I started making the kids breakfast and finishing the laundry. She was working on her laptop already. She snapped that I shouldn't bother cleaning the house because she has hired someone. I tried very hard and refused to escalate. It told her that we can't really afford a cleaning lady and that I've got it. She proceeded to call me a little bitch and scream at me in my face in front of my kids. One of my boys ran and hid and the other sat and read on the couch, but he was not happy. She blamed me for not having time to clean and not having money and that I couldn't clean or do laundry to her standards and that she wasn't a cleaner. It was about an hour of just constant abuse. So I spent today cleaning the house, doing laundry, and taking care of all 4 kids. My sons did more cleaning than she has for a month. What has really disturbed me is not the abuse towards me. I have normalized that and I'm used to it. And honestly, if she kept it behind closed doors, I was prepared to wait out the next 17 years and leave once my kids were out of the house. But my oldest son is clearly mirroring her behaviors and internalizing the stress. It doesn't help that she constantly wants me to ask him who is his favorite, who yells more, and who is the better parent. When I refuse to do that, I am scared of what he might say. I guess Reddit, I don't know what to do. I'm trying to fix this. I am keeping an appointment scheduled with a counselor, but beyond that, other than talking to a lawyer, I don't know what I should do. She honestly doesn't see any issues with how she treats me. Her refrain is that I'm a diamond, and if you leave me, you'll only be dating pebbles. Besides the fact that I don't want a divorce, and she spent the last 6 years threatening a divorce, I don't know I can show anyone who is that out of touch with reality or seemingly so closed off from recognizing that they have a role in causing and fixing the problems within the marriage. Story 3. I told my husband I'm overwhelmed and he got mad at me. I told my husband I'm overwhelmed with all the Christmas decorations. Backstory. Up until this year I was mostly a stay-at-home mom. We go all out for Christmas every year. We have 6 large bins packed full of Christmas decorations. Aside from the tree, I put up all the Christmas decorations inside. This year it's been extremely overwhelming. I work every day while the kids are at school until I have to go pick them up. As soon as we get home, I have to get them something to eat and then head out with our daughter to get her to dance. We don't usually get home until later in the evening. It's usually just enough time to have something to eat, get some homework done, and get ready for bed. The Christmas bins have been sitting in our dining room for weeks. I've been slowly trying to chip away and get the decorations up, but I've barely made a dent. Last night I finally had some time to decorate. It was just overwhelming. I just finished working most of the day. After a couple hours it just felt like it was too much. I told him I was so overwhelmed and it all falls on me every year. It's just too much. The first thing that he told me was, "Fine, I'll put them all away this year." He went on to say that he's been helping so much this week and I don't appreciate any of it. This isn't true. I've told him all week how much I'd appreciate his help around the house. In the past, a lot was left on my shoulders, and I have been very thankful for his recent help. He told me I'm being disrespectful because I don't see how much he's done this week, and I'm telling him he's not doing enough. I kept telling him that's not true. I'm just overwhelmed, but it seemed to go in one ear and out the other. He just kept telling me, "See, it's never enough for you." He was flat out mean to me this morning. He kept telling me I'm so disrespectful. I can't even see what I've done wrong. When I asked what I did wrong, he'd tell me if I can't see it by now that he's not going to bother explaining it to me. I'm at a loss. I don't know what to do. Now for the advice. Girlfriend, you're exhausted. Working all day and juggling kids and activities and housework is so much. Then add Christmas and all the emotional labor. Who is planning the cooking, the shopping, the gifts, the schedules, etc.? I'm guessing not Mr. Putt is helpful. Any man who expects credit for helping around his own house with his own family is a turd. Sorry, but decorating the house should be a family affair and not only do as much as the family is capable of. If the kids lose interest after 5 minutes, that's enough. Your husband is an ass. I can guarantee you that if you wanted to make a list of everything he's not doing, you could without pausing for a breath. If he wants to complain about your behavior, he should be able to do the same. I'm not advocating for this sort of tit or tat, but if he wants to say that you're not paying attention, you better bring his evidence to the table. I broke down over Christmas decorating this morning too, but my husband immediately hugged me, asked what he could do, and distracted both kids so I could have some time to myself. We then decorated together and had a family nap lol. That's what support and partnership should look like. Not arguing over who does more. I'm sorry your husband reacted so poorly. Maybe sit the decorations out this year and take a rest. Hugs. What you said. I am overwhelmed by the Christmas decorations. What he heard. I am overwhelmed by the Christmas decorations because you aren't helping enough. He's making it about himself and being defensive. If you two have had issues with the division of labor, he may have assumed that you were blaming him for you being overwhelmed and thought you were trying to get him to do it by himself. It also sounds like both of you are feeling overwhelmed and burnt out. If both of your plates are full, you have no room to take things off each other's plates. Why are you running yourself ragged with extracurriculars and 6 boxes of decorations? It may be time to have a conversation about dumping things off your plates and simplifying.